Hey, welcome back. It is shop update number 2, and it's a doozy, so let's jump right into it. The first of which is a brand new t-shirt, the first t-shirt that Nice has ever done. I really wanted an American-made t-shirt, which is really difficult to find. You'd be surprised. In fact, if you go into your closet, I would bet that you don't have a single made-in-America t-shirt. They're just really rare because they're expensive. However, I like it, and it's kind of hard to put Made in USA in your logo and on your t-shirt, and the t-shirt's made in somewhere else. So the front is my kind of classy logo, and the back is my standard logo. There we go. These come in white with black ink, and this shirt black with white ink. They are printed here in Houston, Texas, and the shirts are made in America, which I think is pretty fantastic. If you're interested in those, they're available on the website. I think they're like $30. Go check them out. I would love for you to have one and support the brand. If you've been following along on Instagram, you will have already seen these. These are check presenters for a beautiful hotel and restaurant that's going up into Houston, and these are going to be done any day now. The restaurant is opening up any day. This was the sample. Laser cut, check presenter, box will close like that. Got 40 of those. Moving along over here for the same location, obviously with the logo, is another version of a check presenter. I think they're going to be using some of these to bring to their rooms for their bills, and then those will be used at their tables. Here's the stain I used. I'm pleased with it. I'd not used this particular one before, and the first time ever I actually sprayed on the stain, which I don't really know if you're supposed to do, but it did it, and it worked well. There's a couple more. If you follow me, you probably are familiar with Blacksmith Tools. Andrew Alexander up near Dallas. I bought a couple of these. He posted these on his Instagram, and I bought 4 pair of those. They're really handy for fit-ups and holding things where you want them to be held. This is more of a personal project. There's a lot of people that I like in this world, and sometimes I just feel like treating them with something special, not because they asked for it, but just because I like what they're doing, and I like how they do it, and their attitude and spirit is kind and gracious. And so I reached out to a New York, New Jersey chef and YouTube personality from Bon Appetit, Brad Leone. You've probably seen him around. So I'm sending him a wallet with his name in it. And these are the new long wallets that just came out recently, back in December of 2020. Long wallet, if you're familiar with that, this is vegetable tanned, and over time it will age really well if you're familiar with leather, particularly veg tan patinas really well. This isn't veg tan, but it will eventually kind of turn this color, a nice dark brown, beautiful color. Got a couple things in there for him that I'm sending to him. This is a bag that I made that actually uses the same part as the wallet. I'll show it to you. This outside piece here, the dies that I had made for this particular wallet, made by Milwaukee Steel Roll and Die. This is the shape. You can see it like that. So since I have the die cut for it, I just used it to cut it. This is from an old army blanket, completely wool. It's just neat. I stitched it up, put a snap on it, and I'm putting a couple goodies in there for him. I'm proud of that, and if you're not familiar with him, go check out Brad Leone on YouTube. One of the challenges of having a shop, really of any size, not just a small shop like this, a garage shop that's about 350 square feet, which is large, is tool acquisition and really doing the cost benefit on buying an expensive tool. Almost everything in the shop, with exception of my bandsaw and one of the sewing machines, I've bought used, either Craigslist, flea markets, pawn shops. Pawn shops are a great place to buy small hand tools, wrenches, things like that. But sometimes you just need to buy a tool that's going to be expensive, and there's just really nothing you can do about it. but maybe you're not in a hurry. So one thing you can do is just keep flags on different websites to alert you when there's different things for sale. One of those things that I've kept my eye on for a long time, because I knew I didn't want to spend the full amount on this tool, but that I could wait for, is a clicker press. This is a Cowboy CB16, simply a 16-ton clicker press that's duplicated after probably the Atom. Those are kind of one of the leading brands of clicker presses that have been around for a very, very long time. There are machines that, not particularly Atoms, that I got to see this weekend at a leather shop saddle maker auction, which we'll get into here in a second, that were 100 years old. So they've been around for a long time. This particular one, as I said, is 16 tons, which is all I need. I'm not clicking out humongous dies, but here in the bottom of the tank is 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid, and weighs a ton. I think this one's around 1,400 pounds, something like that. Here are the dies. I had these made by Milwaukee Tools, Milwaukee Steel Rule and Die, and they are, I think, the best in the business. It's really kind of hard to argue with them. I think they look really well made. They look nice is what I mean, and they are well made. I design all the files in Illustrator and send them to them, and they come back to me. This is the shape that I showed you of that wallet that also cut out the wool piece there, and that's what makes it. It's called a swing arm, which is really convenient because it allows you to lay your leather, get everything situated, place what you want on here, and swing the arm back over for safety reasons, for obvious need. It's got two thumb press buttons, and you click them both at the same time, and it ka-chunks down on it. And if you're cutting really thick like vegetable tan leather, it does kind of make a clicking sound, which is really, really proud of this tool. It's one of those things that I got a smoking deal on, and if I had not gotten a good deal on it, I probably would have waited. But I've been looking for one of these for a couple of years and finally landed on one, and found it on Craigslist locally, which is amazing because there's not many people that have these in Houston. I know of a couple that do, but there aren't many around unless you're a boot maker or something like that, which there are a couple in the area. Thanks, buddy. This is a new small, tiny small stamp that we're going to test right now. Woo. As you've seen before, this one here is my standard stamp that I use. I've used it for probably 7 years, I think is the amount of time I've used it for. And there's the classier stamp. Looks better on certain items. It's been gold foiled, as you can see. This stamp, due to its size, will not look good on all leathers, particularly textured leathers. This might work. Let's try this one. Smoother leather with a tighter grain will look nice. And because it's so small, it needs very little pressure. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. Here's a bit of an impulse buy. Probably 200 pounds of veg tan cutoffs. I'm going to go through these, a little time lapse, and sort it out to what's usable, what's not. But this stuff is pretty amazing. Some of it's pretty thick, in the like 12 to 14 ounce range, obviously for saddle work. Look at that. See, so for a saddle maker, that's trash. There's not really much you could do with it. There are, however, things that they can do with it, like these that I just found in the box that are used for adornments for saddles. I forget what these punches are called. If you know, tell me. This stuff is going to be really good for me for holsters and even patterns because it's nice and thick, and coasters and things like that. And I might have even give some of this away. Here we go. That was a chore, but it's done and it's a good thing. So this pile here is basically some great pieces, but they're dirty or they've got stains or the tanning marks on them where they stretched out the hides. Or they've got some kind of oil spots or scuffs and such as. So if you're interested in some leather, I'm going to get rid of this. So if you're interested, reach out to me on Instagram, Nice Custom Goods, shoot me a message, and maybe we can work something out. This is an enormous amount of leather, and a lot of it's totally fine. If you're wanting to do coasters or small pieces, this is totally available. I am keeping this pile for coasters, straps, that kind of stuff that's much cleaner. And these are much larger pieces that I can actually use for different projects, holsters, etc. Then found some goodies. Let's look at these. I know nothing about saddle making or what they entail, but these are all saddle pieces. And here's a pattern. I know it's a pattern because it says pattern. There are many parts to a saddle. I wish I knew how many parts, but this is just one tiny piece that goes in one tiny place. I can tell you, like a wallet, you could maybe look at a piece of a wallet apart from a wallet and not even know that it's from a wallet because all these pieces get put together in sort of a mismatched way, like a puzzle. But this would be one of the paper patterns. This particular Tex Tan saddle maker that is going out of business / moving to Ohio. They made their own patterns out of paper, but the majority of their patterns were clicker dies. This is an example of one that I bought that's just a great generic shape, 5x5, that I can use for all kinds of stuff. But basically, they would turn a paper pattern into this with these sharp knives that then they would press into the leather with the clicker die that we've just looked at. Again, another piece. This probably got folded over and riveted together and was some kind of part. Another piece. Again, this was one piece, and it gets tooled in some way and put together. This was probably a sample piece that they were trying out a new embossing die, and they would have pressed this into the leather and would have been, like on a part like that or something. But obviously this impression didn't go well, and so they didn't use it. This is another one of those pieces here, like this, that would fit and be stacked to be used with something like a concho. Again, another piece. Somebody was probably trying to practice with their swivel knife, and it didn't go well. And that is, I'm bending that as hard as I can, and I can't get it to fold over. That's some serious veg tan. This is an entire piece that somebody started on, and again, didn't go well. They even did the black edge coating that went on it, and probably embossed this on here, and it would just look bad. So we got tossed into the heap. Actually, you can see these lines right here. I don't know if they translate on camera. but this would have been a, say, much thicker piece like this that was then skived, is the term, with a skiving machine or skiver to make it a more manageable or appropriate thickness. Trash. Two more pieces. I mean, this could be part of the tack or part of the harness, could be part of the reins or something. I don't know. These were in the box. This would have been cut out again with a clicker die like this, and we're ready to go to be used. Here's a good example. This isn't anything fancy, but here's an example of someone's brand that would have been on the cattle. SSL Ranch, maybe something like that. I'm not sure why there's two brands, but you can see another brand here that's a larger brand of this version here. And what's cool about branding is that you can actually look up in these large cattle catalogs what cattle belongs to what ranch. It's really interesting. Here's a really cool piece. This goes behind the back of the saddle. This is one of the few pieces that I know what it is. And what they do here, which clearly didn't go well, is they would have, again, used some kind of skiver to take what is this thickness here and taken it to a much thinner piece so it's moldable, so you could then mold it around your saddle and curve it around your piece much easier than you could with a super thick piece of leather. But that's kind of cool. Identical parts here. Again, I don't know what they are, but saddle parts. Here's somebody who's probably working on their stitching and wasn't maybe familiar with the machine and had a mistake, went off the edge with the sewing machine, and even had lined it in the back and got trashed. This was a great find here and paid an unbelievable price. I got it for the price of one, and there's 5 suede hides in here. They're really nice, and I'm super happy to have them because they'll be great for pouches and liners for different items. I'm super pumped about that. I also got some of these 2.5, let's say, giant, super thick, probably old and nice and aged. So it's got that, it's patinaed on its own, but those will be belts and other pieces that I come up with. This is kind of fun, a impulse buy for sure. Although I do use these, they are ITW Nexus Fastex Snaps. You see them a lot in camping, but I use them on my leather and canvas aprons. And according to the box, there's 500 in here, but I'm gonna guess there's more. But I think I paid $5 for these. A couple other auction finds. This is another of the clicker dies that I got, just a generic shape that I could use for small zipper bags or an iPad case or Air computer from Mac. What are they called? This is a cheap Pakistani round knife or head knife, and this is a cool score. This is a forged C.S. Osborne head knife. This is a beautiful tool here, and these have been around for a very, very long time. Brass and rosewood, maybe. It's beautiful. This is also C.S. Osborne. This is a skiver, and you can still buy these, actually. These have been around for a long time, too. Replaceable blade. You can carve out sections if you want it to be a little bit thinner. Got a little collection of thread. You have seen me use these before. This is a Berry King maul or mallet. I got 2 different weights, and I already have the larger one, but these are old and have been well loved. And you can get these from Rocky Mountain Leather Supply still. And these are just beautiful tools. I like the smaller one. I was glad to find it. A couple edgers right here, nothing fancy. This is also a new addition to the shop. These are really neat, and I'm actually not a big fan of wall storage. As you have seen in most of my videos, I have a lot of Craftsman toolboxes, but these are just too cool to pass up. It's an actual Craigslist find, believe it or not. Challenger tools. This is probably from the 60s and hung in a store somewhere. I couldn't get the real story on it, but they are beginning to fill up with actual Challenger tools. So if you could help me, I would love to fill this up over the next little while. And so if you have Challenger tools, or you know where to get a good collection of Challenger tools, I would love to hear about it. And last but certainly not least, oof, look at these beauties. Matching bags. Based on the contents, I wonder if it was some sort of just mobile repair kit that some craftsman made. This stuff is old, real old. I think this is black, and I'm gonna guess this is probably chocolate based on my experience. Maybe it's real chocolate. These are beautiful, and they're actually in really great shape, except this handle right here. But this one's in actually amazing shape. There's nothing broken on it at all. And I'm gonna recondition it and probably use it. It's pretty cool. I've got to obviously clean it, put some saddle soap on it, give it some moisture. It's dry as a bone. Look at this. Mud daubers, wasps. Decided to make these beautiful bags their home. But now they're mine. Thanks for coming along on this shop update number 2. If you have any questions about anything that you have seen, shoot a comment down below, or come over to Instagram, Nice Custom Goods or Nice Vintage Goods, and shoot me a direct message or make a comment on any of the posts. I would love to chat with you. Don't forget about the shirts. They are 30 bucks, American made, and printed here in Houston, and I can get them out to you. They're available on the website, which is also new. It's been a big year for Nice Custom Goods, and I'm really proud of what's coming out. I just released a long wallet, which is on the website as well, and I am about to release a bifold, the first bifold that I have officially come out with, and I think it looks really nice, and it's beautiful. So again, I'd love to meet with you, chat with me anywhere you like, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We have passed over 1,000 subscribers, which is really great. I'm really excited about that, and that's because of you. So thank you. If you have any questions, hit me up, and we'll see you later.